All right, thanks, everyone. So I want to talk a little bit about NASDAQ Level 1 and NASDAQ Level 2. And when I was a market maker, we used NASDAQ Level 4, which basically gave you the ability to communicate with the other market makers. Now, let me tell you something. If you think you can get some kind of a insight into the market, which way it's going to go by looking at NASDAQ Level 2 or whatever, you're absolutely wrong. You can't. Okay, that's my opinion of someone who did this stuff institutionally for 20 years. I was a market maker. The idea is this, right? People that want to buy place bids, and here's the price they want to buy it at. Like someone's ARCA. These are different exchanges. They're actually like what we call them alternative trading venues or systems or crossing networks. We'll look a little bit more deeply into this. But this is ARCA. So someone on ARCA who placed their order on this particular exchange says, I will pay $5.30 and I will buy 2,000 shares. The person that came in line after them said, I'll pay $5.30 for 100 shares. Someone got there after them. Whoever gets in line first is at the top, and there's the shares that they're willing to buy. Now, behind them in line, this other person in ARCA is like, all right, well, I'll pay $5.29 for 100. If you go down another cent, there's someone on ARCA who is willing to pay $5.28 for 7,000. Sounds simple, right? These are the prices people are willing to pay on these various exchanges. These are the amount of shares they're willing to buy. If we look on this side, we see the sellers. This person on ARCA is willing to sell 1,000 shares at $5.35. The trade hasn't been consummated yet because this person wants to pay $5.30. This person wants to sell $5.35. It's an auction. They're it's like Pawn Stars. They're debating. This person wants to pay or sell 100 shares at 536. If you get all the way up to 542, this person wants to sell 2,000. Now, if you were just to look at this, you would say, Mark G, it seems like there's a lot more shares to buy than there are to sell. Around the bid price, we have roughly 10,000 shares to be bought. People that want to buy 10,000 shares between 528 and 530. But over here on the sell side, it's like we got, we don't have people that want to sell that many shares up until we maybe get off the screen, even around 5.5. Well, guess what? This is why it is a myth. Because traders don't show their hands. They don't post what they want to buy or sell in the institutional world. For example, this order here on EDGA, whatever exchange it is, 100 shares at 537. This could be 1,000,000 shares. Whoever placed this order just said, you know what? I'm only going to show 100. I'm not going to show 1,000,000 shares. There could be someone that wants to sell 10 million shares at 533. But you know what? They don't want the market to see their hand. So they're on the sidelines. They're just watching. So the idea of NASDAQ Level 2 giving you this great insight into the market is just wrong because this is not what the market is. There are lots of people that aren't willing to show what they want to do. Now, this here is kind of interesting because this goes back a long way. This goes back to when I just started. Now, these are different firms here. That's Prudential. That's Island. That's, I forgot that is. That's B-Trade, Goldman Sachs, Donald J. Lufgren, out of business, Montgomery, Bear Stearns. So this is a long time ago. That's BT Alex Brown. Hey, look at that. It shows you how long ago this is Madoff. So someone who had an order at Madoff was willing to sell 600 shares at least at 110.5. Now, this person at Madoff, they could have been selling 50 zillion million jillion shares there, which of course they wanted because that's too much. But maybe they wanted to sell 100,000 shares there, okay? But they only want to show 600. The guy, I mean, look at this quote here, right? I don't know what stock this is. I think it's Cisco. Okay. Yeah, so Cisco. This stock trades millions of shares a day. So are you telling me that in the entire world there are only let's see, 2,500, 4,500, 3,100 shares that want to be bought at 516, and there's only 100 people, or only 100 shares that want to be sold at 110 and 3/8. No, you can't trust this. If it was so easy to do, everyone would do it. It's kind of funny. Oh, that's Furman sells Smith Barney. Wow, this is really old. And I guess I'm you know, aging myself here. But the bottom line is, and this is what I want to come down to. Let me see if I could find another one. There's no value in looking at a NASDAQ level 2 screen, all right? Because it's not the real market. Most of the big players, and let me just here, NASDAQ level 2 image. You know, they don't want to show the, think about it. All right, just think about it. If you were a trader, and you probably are, do you want people to know what you're doing? So if you had, well, that's another one of those real old ones. Let's see if we can find a newer one. All right, I guess we'll go look at this. I mean, would you want someone to know what you were doing? So this is, I don't know what stock this is. It's a high price stock. So it's 2,700, 2,729.77 is the bid. This is the highest anyone is willing to pay, and this is the lowest anyone is willing to sell at, 27.30.82. Now, say you're some big shot investment hedge fund or an investment banker or whatever, and you got 1,000,000 shares to sell, and you're willing to sell it all on the offer price. You would sell all your shares, every single one of them at this price if someone was willing to pay. Would you put your size out there? Would you show that there's 1,000,000 shares there? No, because all of a sudden all the buyers would be like, wow, there's a huge seller out there. We got to reduce our prices. A lot of the other sellers would be like, wait a second, I'll give up a few points. I don't want to miss out. So I'm going to reduce my price and get ahead of this guy. All right. So I think by now you should know what I'm saying. People don't really show their hands. When it comes down to markets, pay attention to what are the important price levels, what are the important trends, what's the momentum, what's the psychology, all this other stuff. You know, I guess, I mean, hey, if you can make money off of it, great. I'll subscribe to your newsletter. But, you know, I mean, I'm just talking about my 25 years in this business and what I've seen. And that's just my opinion, everyone. And that's what you pay me for. Okay. Thank you so much. I hope to see you soon.